So recently you quit your job, you sold your car, and you took a flight in chase of your dreams. Can you talk me through that day and talk me through that decision? What made you make that decision?
Yeah, good question. I think, honestly, obviously the job that I have is my plan B, right? And the plan A is essentially work on my business, grow like my audience, and like being a content creator and being an entrepreneur, right? And I realized that having plan B, which is my safety job, right, which is a stable job, is affecting my plan A. I feel like that is because I still have to work during the day. I still have to essentially like do work. Like that's affecting like the ability or like the potential that can grow on my plan A, which is my business and my social media. So I make the call and say, look, I'm gonna quit my job. I'm gonna have to make this work, otherwise I'm fucked. So that's pretty much it. So yeah, and I sold my car. The car is probably the biggest thing that I've bought since I come to the country, and that's like my asset, right? And that's the thing that I've had. And when I sold my car, I feel like in a way not empty, but I feel like, damn, that's really happening. It's really happening because that's the first big thing that I've done. But yeah, now I feel good. I'm excited. Obviously, it's still a big scare. To some extent, but I'm excited for in 5 weeks' time. I'll see you in Valencia.
So yeah, so give some context about that decision, right? You were in a pretty high paying job, 125k, stable career progression. You understood what was coming next, but you've talked about how you didn't feel like it was enough. Why did you feel like that? And when did you start to realize that it wasn't enough?
Yeah, I think honestly, probably over a year that I feel like a 9 to 5 is not for me. I don't feel fulfilled in my 9 to 5. Like I am getting paid a lot of money in the corporate world, right? So let me say like 125k is a lot of money as a salary. It's not a lot of money as a business, right? So like I think like I just don't feel like I can see myself continue to grow and learn as my career progress in the current role or in what I'm doing, which for context, I'm working in sales, like in the AI sales space. So I just feel like the potential and there's a ceiling for it. And I've looked at the people that are above me, that they are like in their 50s, right? Like they're making like 350 grand a year. Like don't get me wrong, that's a lot of money, right? But I can't see myself like just making 300 grand a year and just be stored there for another 20 years because like with the trajectories that I'm going with right now with my career progression, I can probably do that in the next 5 years. So what does that mean after 5 years time then, right? So there's not even any like additional money that I can get from a place or just from working a 9 to 5. And also there's a constraint, right? It's about the freedom that you can get. It's about you have to go into the office or you have to work a 9 to 5. Like you still have to be there, like you still have to show up. But whereas when I have my own business or when I'm doing my own social media stuff, I can be in a different country or I can just go around and spend time with families. I can prioritize my own life over work. And one of the things that I really see value is like if you like touch wood, if I go tomorrow, they can replace me tomorrow. Like they will hire someone straight away. They will put on a job ads and like we need another new salesperson. Like so you mean nothing to the company. Like whereas if it's your own thing, like everything that you work on is you, right? And this is where I start. Like I really make the call and say, look, like I'm gonna do it. So yeah.
And I think also it's important to think about the corporate world that we're talking about here. That corporate world, it's very much it feels soulless. It feels like you're doing it because of a specific, kind of output, and then it doesn't feel like you really care about the thing you're inputting, right? But let's talk about that. Let's talk about you thought about the people that were above you, and you talked about how of course they're 300k, kind of like you could have made it, but you saw them and you kind of felt like I didn't want it to be like them. What was that like? What did you mean by that?
I just can't see myself working a 9 to 5 for another 30 years. Like I'm 23 years old, right? So if we talk about the standard retirement age, 65, I'm still 42 years away. It's a long time. Like when you think about it, I've worked probably for like 3-4 years now. Like, and that is also a long time. Like, can you imagine yourself working another 30-40 years? Like, I just can't see that for myself. Hence why I look at the people. Look, everyone's different. Some people might just really like a 9 to 5. But for me, like, I just can't see myself. When I look at them, like, I'm sorry, I just feel like, do you not have better things to do? Like, why are you in the office when you're in the 50s? Like, why are you chasing deals? Like, why are you trying to sell more? Like, what is like? So it's just like, I don't want to be. I guess two things, right? Firstly, is I don't want to be like stuck in a job like when I'm until my 50s. I can't do that for another 30 years. But the second thing is just like the potential, like just the potential of the earnings and stuff. Like so these are the main two things.
Yeah, I think it comes down to either betting on yourself or betting on the safety of a company.
Yeah.
I think some people the mentality of some people is they'd rather bet on the safety of a company. And I think human beings are kind of like rational beings, right? We'll kind of tell ourselves, I'm doing this decision because it makes a rational sense and da-da-da-da-da. And then they just, spend the next 40 years of their life in one company or bouncing around different company, convincing themselves that they made the right choice because they didn't do anything that was risky and they didn't risk anything. But I think there's certain individuals who understand that risk is actually a part of life. And like, you have to use that risk to your own advantage in order to create leverage to move up
100%
to different fields.
Yeah, but even the really good element you mentioned is the risk, right? If I even take that away, like there's no being safe or being stable in a corporate job because nowadays in the environment, like you can get laid off tomorrow, like you can get laid off by the company. So so a safe job is not that safe anymore. Like so then this is what I mean by why am I wasting my time spending in plan B, whereas plan B is not actually safe anyway, right? I could get laid off tomorrow. I still have to deliver. Or if the organization will change, then that is done. So like your safe job is not that safe, then like you are not being risk free really because there's still a risk there. So I'd rather take those risks and just do my own thing and just try. And one of the elements I also think of is I'm only 23, right? Like touch wood if this fail. I can come back next year. Like so the worst case scenario is my current scenario. It's just coming back to a 9 to 5.
Yeah.
I might not make as much money as now as 125 grand, but I will survive. Right. So,
And not just that, like you see so much progression in yourself by making this risk. I feel like life is always like a two choice thing. You have a go forward and you have a new kind of options like pop up, or you don't do anything, and then those options kind of like get taken away. I think most of the time we get stuck in that loop of always like not making a choice because we feel like it makes sense. To give the devil his due, though, why do you think some people feel like they have to stay into that kind of comfortable role? Like, if we had to try to think of that perspective, because the reason why I'm so fascinated about this conversation is I want to take people where they're at, because a lot of our generation feels like 9 to 5 is a stable job, it makes sense, and we've kind of been conditioned for that way of life. And I want to bring them on this journey of like trying to believing in themselves and trying their own thing. But to start, they have to start where they are. Why do you think people start there? What kind of marketing or what kind of things are we told about 9 to 5 that make us think it's safe?
I think the thing that I would pick on is probably about like people don't want to try. Like sometimes I just feel like people are just lazy. Like because it's hard to do your own business. It's hard to chase your dream. So the easiest path is a 9 to 5. It's being in the corporate world. It's getting salary. Like you just have to deliver certain things, and then you get paid. And then what do you do the rest of the time? You wake up, you just go on your phone for 2 hours. You come back watching Netflix, cook, and that's the end of the day. Like, but actually, I want to say that is probably one of the worst things you can do because you are burning your prime age, or you're burning your like the perfect time for yourself, like to be stuck in a job. Like, so I just feel like a lot of people do that because they're just lazy. Like, honestly, not everyone can be an entrepreneur. I get it, but can everyone not go to 9 to 5? 100%.
Yeah.
Like, they could definitely try.
Yeah, I mean, like I always think about this a lot because I like to think about where things started from, and I think that like the industrial age and how everyone kind of had to be working in a factory from young got us comfortable as a society with like going to a job and clocking in and clocking out rather than making our own stuff. Feels like the UK right now has a shortage of jobs because no one's making anything.
Yeah.
Everyone's just kind of being used to this thing where they're kind of leeching off people making stuff. So you have an agency, you've got a sales team. Great company, great ideas, but no one's actually making anything, and so nothing gets, no new jobs comes, no new money comes into the economy. And I feel like our generation has been very much kind of convinced that the 9 to 5 is almost the only way to have a life.
Yeah.
And so we fall into that trap and we just off we go,
100%. And I guess that's probably the only thing they taught in school as well, right? Or like just at uni, it's like the career path or like our life path has been planned as you go to school. Then what do? You go to uni, and after you get a job, and then what's after you get a job? You wait for to get promotion, and then you jump around, and then you're just trying to climb up the ladder. Like this is how I see it is I thought about climbing up the ladder when I first started my career, right? I thought about because all I knew at the time was corporate world, and which I've learned a lot in the corporate world. So that's something that I can't just say like, oh, I hate corporate world, but I've learned a lot, right? So that's something that I have to give credit to the corporate world. But is like I thought about climbing the ladder, the career ladder, but actually climbing the career ladder is not easy either. Like this is the thing, like you still have to work hard, like you still have to work extra hours. So then why don't I just put those hours into my own business or into my own thing that I would enjoy more? So then like the reward is a lot bigger, or I guess it's limitless in a way, right? So
Yeah. When did you start having that change of perspective then? Because I think that's interesting.
I think one of my mate, when I was started my career at Microsoft, it was when I was 19. I was an intern there, like, and his family's always got he's got a family business, and this is where he start planting the seed, and really talking about like having your own business and stuff. In my head, honestly, back then I was like, what the hell are you talking about? Like, you can be at Microsoft, like that's one of the best company you can work for, right? But actually, he really planted the seed in me, and then the more I learn about sort of like the startup environment, the ecosystem, and I've tried different ideas, and then like obviously I've been like building my own business, like a couple of other businesses for the past 2 years, failed a couple of times, but then I've just really decided to take the leap of faith and just go for it.
Yeah, I think for me it's always been kind of similar, where I kind of always had an instinctive way of like, I believe in my own potential rather than someone's potential to look after me.
Yeah.
So like I know that a company might fail and I might fail, but like I'd rather it be in my hands.
Yeah.
And then like always understanding that whatever move I make, it needs to be like always aligned with that. And the mistake I used to make, and I still kind of make to a certain extent, is that I would do both. Because I'll be like, I'll do 9 to 5, but I also do my own thing. And I think that's the kind of like that's the for some people the kind of like the balance, but that balance is also very difficult to handle.
That's the thing. I think that was me for 2 years, right? Like it's difficult, like it's hard, and a lot of the time, like you just don't have the energy to do your own business, like, and which because you are burnt out, or like you spend a lot of time at work, like you just really want to spend some time for yourself, which is completely fair. And this is where I see as like it being in plan B, which is not a stable or safe, like in any way. In some way maybe it is, right? But you still have the risk of getting laid off, like I said earlier. Then you might as well just go and try. So I'm like, now I've made the call and say, look, I quit my job, like, and I'm gonna do it, like, and if I failed, I'm fucked pretty much, right? So I'm keep going, but like,
Yeah,
like,
it's okay, don't worry.
Yeah, so like it just means that there's no other option but to succeed.
Let's talk about making a jump then, because I feel like that's where like the realization comes first, and then the secondary thing is making that jump, making that decision. You've talked about how you can have both feelings coexist, the feeling of fear and the feeling of excitement, and they both coexist because once you make the decision, it's like you're in the process now, and your mind is telling yourself both things are real. What is it like when you finally make that decision?